Welcome and thank you for standing by. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. Today's webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be posted publicly. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. Now I'd like to turn the call over to your host, Crystal Jimerson.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Top 3 Tools Tour. My name is Crystal Jimerson, and I'm a data dissemination specialist here at the U.S. Census Bureau. I want to thank you for joining us today for the Back to Data Basics webinar series. The series was created by the Census Academy team here at the Census Bureau. You can register for any of the webinars at the Census Bureau homepage. Just visit census.gov/academy. We think these webinars will be a valuable opportunity for you to learn from our experts about how to access and utilize a variety of Census Bureau data products, tools, and resources. Before I introduce today's speaker, let's go over a few important housekeeping rules. As mentioned earlier, this webinar will be recorded. For your convenience, it will be posted to our Census Academy site within 30 business days. We'll post all supplemental materials, including the PowerPoint slides. In terms of how to ask questions during the webinar, you can submit your written responses using the Q&A panel, which is at the bottom center or the right side of your WebEx screen. Please take a moment to locate that now. Once you've found the Q&A panel, make sure you choose All Panelists from the drop-down menu. This will ensure we see your questions. Don't send your question to an individual panelist. Also, we ask that you do not include any personal or business identifiable information with your questions. Now let's talk about the chat panel. Look for that on your screen now. It's probably right next to the Q&A panel. Definitely keep that chat panel open because this is where we will provide key links and other resources. Keep in mind you won't be able to respond to the chats. Chat is just for us to send you links and other resources. In the chat box, we will be sharing throughout the webinar the link to our evaluation. We are very interested in hearing from you from how we are doing. As time allows, we will answer your questions directly through the Q&A panel, or we will share your questions with the presenter to respond to after the presentation. If we don't get to all the questions with the response during the webinar, we will post the questions and responses with the webinar materials within 30 business days. Lastly, near the end of the webinar, we'll put into the chat a link to our evaluation so you can tell us how we did today. We hope you'll take the time to complete, as we are always looking for ways to improve our training. As you know, we are in a virtual and sometimes technical difficulties may occur. If you are having issues, try a different browser. Please consider logging out and coming back into the session. Now I would like to introduce our speaker, Kelly Karras. Thanks for being here, Kelly. You may begin.
Thank you, Crystal. And thank you for joining our Back to Data Basics webinar series. Our webinar today is Top 3 Tools Tour. My name is Kelly Karras, and I am also a data dissemination specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau. I am one of many data dissemination specialists available across the country to conduct not only data trainings and presentations, but to respond to data inquiries from data users like yourselves. I'm responsible for providing data services to North and South Carolina. To learn about who the specialist is serving your area, contact us at census.askdata@census.gov. I'll share this contact information with you again at the end of the presentation. You can also learn about our services and request trainings for your organization by visiting census.gov/academy. Our services are free of cost. While at Census Academy, don't forget to check out our data gems and courses. These short videos are great ways to learn how to access and to use our data. Today's webinar will last about 1 hour. Let's begin by reviewing the objectives of the class. The learning objectives of today's session are as follows. Identify 3 of the top tools on census.gov. Understand uses of the tools and the type of data available within each tool. Access the tools on census.gov. Navigate within each tool to access basic data. And locate resources available for independent learning, research, and data assistance. And now for an outline of today's session. First, I'll provide a brief overview of the U.S. Census Bureau, who we are, what we do, and our mission. Next, I'll introduce 3 of the top data tools on census.gov: QuickFacts, data.census.gov, and Census Business Builder. At the end of the presentation, I'll share with you a list of resources, web links, and provide you with guidance on working within each tool, including frequently asked questions, step-by-step guidance, and pre-recorded training sessions. After that, we'll move into the online demonstration portion of the session. As the federal government's largest statistical agency and the nation's data collector, the U.S. Census Bureau conducts 3 censuses: the economic census, which serves as a benchmark for changes in the U.S. economy and businesses by sector over time; the census of governments, which provides data on local and state government financing, spending, and employment; and the decennial census, which is the once-a-decade headcount conducted by the Census Bureau since 1790, when U.S. Marshals on horseback enumerated a young but growing nation. The decennial census is mandated by the Constitution. The U.S. Census Bureau also conducts over 130 surveys each year, including the American Community Survey, which is the largest household survey in the United States. It provides annual data for areas large and small on a variety of population, housing, social, and economic topics. The Census Bureau also produces annual population estimates and less frequent population projections. And this is our mission: to serve as the nation's leading provider of quality data about its people and economy. And why? Because census data is a key resource used for planning schools and roads, for emergency preparedness, for opening or expanding a business, and distributing billions of dollars in federal funding. Okay, so let's get started with the tools. Tool number 1 is QuickFacts. QuickFacts is the first tool I'll talk about and demonstrate today. It's the most straightforward tool, featuring statistics for states, counties, cities, and towns with a population of 5,000 or more in an easy-to-navigate format. You'll want to use QuickFacts when you need easy-to-access statistics. It really streamlines the process of getting to data on frequently requested statistics such as population, income, number of veterans, housing, number of businesses, and more. And the data are presented in several different ways, including a table format, a bar chart, a map, and a dashboard, which incorporates all 3 of the views. And some common data user types of QuickFacts include media, teachers, congressional offices, and nonprofit organizations. The second tool we'll talk about today is data.census.gov. This is the Census Bureau's main data dissemination tool. It replaced the Census Bureau's American Fact Finder, which some of you may remember. You'll want to use data on data.census.gov when you need to access more robust information than is available in QuickFacts, including detailed data profiles, detailed data tables, and thematic maps. Also, the Microdata tool, or MDAT, which allows users to create customized tabulations using the public use microdata files. And this is housed within data.census.gov, accessible from the bottom of the main page. I won't be reviewing this tool today, but there are plenty of webinars and training modules available if you are interested in learning more about this tool. As I mentioned before, data.census.gov offers even more detailed data on a variety of topics, loosely falling into the categories of population, housing, social characteristics, and economic data. This data is available for all types of census geographic areas, including states, congressional districts, zip codes, census tracts, and more. There's no population threshold within data.census.gov. This slide shows us a data profile from the tool, and while it only shows a small amount of data here, it does contain data on over 10 topic areas, and it's nicely appointed with a map and bar charts as well as frequently requested statistics, and I'll show it to you during the demonstration. And please note that direct links to all of the tools are on each of the slides. The last tool that we'll look at is Census Business Builder, which provides selected demographic and economic data in an interactive mapping format. There are 2 editions of the tool, and when we go online, I'll demonstrate the small business edition of the tool. You'll want to use Census Business Builder when you're looking to work with both demographic and economic data in a visual format. And the original purpose of this tool was to make it easier for small business owners and entrepreneurs to access economic data more easily. But the tool really morphed into a data resource for data users of all types due to its intuitive navigation and dynamic look and feel. Census Business Builder also features a customizable map and dashboard. And just to give you an idea of some of the information contained within Census Business Builder, it has information on a variety of topics including business data, employment, consumer expenditures, and more. And it's available for geographic areas including states, counties, cities, towns, zip codes, and census tracts. Some common user types of this tool include entrepreneurs and business owners, chambers of commerce, and regional councils. But the tool can be useful to a variety of users, as I mentioned before, and you'll see it when we get into the tool in the upcoming demo. Before I end the presentation portion, I wanted to share some useful resources with you. These include resources and links to the 3 tools, as well as some other resources, including the Census Glossary and the Index A to Z. And I'm sharing these with you because I find them extremely helpful when I'm looking for data on census.gov. So a quick recap of the presentation portion. I first provided you with an overview of the U.S. Census Bureau. Then I introduced you to the 3 of the top tools on census.gov, including QuickFacts, data.census.gov, and Census Business Builder. And I then provided you with resources for all 3 tools, as well as some additional resources. And so now it's time for the online demonstration portion of the session. So what you see in front of you is the home screen of census.gov. And before we begin, let's talk about how we are going to approach the demonstration. So we have a lot to cover here, and I want to sort of organize it in a way that will allow you all to be able to recreate the steps on your own. And I think it would be useful to show you how to access one statistic for one geographic area within all 3 tools. That statistic will be median household income, a very frequently requested statistic at the Census Bureau, and the area is Maricopa County, Arizona. Maricopa County, which is the county that contains Phoenix, has been one of the fastest growing counties at several points in the last decade. And we'll look at some other data as well while we're in the tools, but this will be our data query and our starting point as we enter the tools. As I mentioned, all of this is available on census.gov, and in the presentation, one of the links that I shared with you was a link to the Explore Data main page, which is sort of a landing point for getting to all of the census data tools, especially the 3 that I talked about today. So to get to Explore Data, hover over the Explore Data tab and click on Explore Data Main. Okay, you'll see that data.census.gov is featured up top, but I'm going to scroll down because we're going to start with QuickFacts. We're going to look at the tools in the same order I presented them. You can either click on Go to QuickFacts or click here on the picture of the tool. This is the main page of QuickFacts, and QuickFacts grew out of a list of frequently requested statistics by data users. And as you see, the default view is populated with data for the United States. Since I want data from Maricopa County, I simply need to type it into the search box. And it recognizes Maricopa. I'm going to take Maricopa County. I'm going to click on it. And now the table is populated with data for Maricopa County as well. And now that we've selected our area, there's an option to remove the United States. You can just click on the X, or we can keep it as a point of comparison, or we can add more geographic areas of interest. The QuickFacts can accommodate up to 6 geographic selections. And in QuickFacts, you can search not only by county, but by state, city, or town, as long as the area has a population of 5,000 or more. Keep the threshold in mind because when you're searching for data for areas with smaller populations, because if they don't meet the threshold, they won't provide data for that area. And in fact, they won't recognize the area that you're typing in if the population has less than 5,000. Maricopa County certainly has a population over 5,000, as we can see here, right up top. The most recent population estimate shows that the population is 4,496,588. And we can learn more about a statistic by clicking on the eye to the left of it. Click on it and just show you. This provides us information on the source of the data, and this comes from our population estimates program. Okay, so we are looking for median household income data. Where do we find that? QuickFacts is organized into 2 main topic areas. You'll see here in gray, people is one of them. And the second one, closer to the bottom, is business. I'm going to scroll down. We've got quite a bit of information here, as you can see. But right above the business topic area is the subcategory of income and poverty. And the first statistic is median household income. We see that the median household income is $67,799. And if I click on this variable, what it will do is it will bring our variable of interest up to the top of our table. Okay, now I'd like to show you some other features within QuickFacts. First, let's take a look at the map. I'm going to click on Map above the table. If I select United States here, it will provide me a map of all of the states within the United States, so it'll be a state-level map. If I click on county, it will provide county-level data, which is what we're looking for. So I'm going to click on county, and the map will render to show median household income for Maricopa County and some surrounding counties. So you've got your variable listed up top and the legend at the bottom. To see the statistic, just click on the county and it will provide us with the median household income again. You can also view it in a full screen view by clicking on full screen. And this is a nice view because you get the title, you get the legend, and it provides a nice map view for you. I'm going to close the full screen. Next, I'd like to show you the chart. I'm going to click on Chart, which is right next to Map. And again, it provides me the option of United States if we wanted to look at data for the states. Maricopa County, which will provide data for all counties within Arizona. Or View Selected Locations. And this would give us data for Maricopa County and United States. So this is particularly useful if you're looking at data for more than 2 areas, say multiple geographic areas, and remember this accommodates up to 6. But again, we want county level data. I'm clicking on Maricopa. And this provides us with a nice bar chart of median income for all counties within Arizona. And notice that there is a magnifying glass next to each of the geographic areas, each of the counties. I'm going to click on it because I want to show you how it provides quick links to additional information for the geographic area. So you get links to profiles for housing data and population data, as well as some business data and other links as well. So it's just additional information for that area. Finally, I want to show you the dashboard, which provides data for all three in one view. I click on Dashboard, Maricopa County, okay. And here we see the dashboard for Maricopa County. And you'll also see that the median household income statistic is still listed at the top of our table. And the data is featured on the map and the chart. You can scroll down to get a better view here of the chart as well. But within the table, it also lists some of the other data that we saw in the beginning. So I see this as being a really useful addition to reports or presentations. For some additional information on quick facts, you can go to What's New and Frequently Asked Questions. So it will show you some what we looked at today, in addition to some other information and some cool features of the tool. And the More button allows you to share your quick fact findings with others or share it on social media. The next tool we're going to look at is data.census.gov. And since the web address is the name, I'm just going to go ahead and type in data.census.gov. Okay, and this is the landing page of the U.S. Census Bureau's main data dissemination platform. Okay. And I want to point out, before we get into the tool, some of the resources are up top, the top right, under Help and Frequently Asked Questions. There is a ton of information within both of the links. So if you have any questions, I urge you to go there first. And there are some really great documents and pre-recorded webinars, all that sort of walk you through the different features of the system. So since we're looking again for median household income for Maricopa County, and we've got this great search box right in front of us, I'm going to go ahead and use it. I'm going to type in both elements. Type in Maricopa County and median household income. And I'm just going to click Go. One of the benefits of data.census.gov is that in some cases it has this great built-in feature where it provides you with the statistic that you requested right up top. So we see again that the median household income in Maricopa County is $67,799. We also get a list of all of the tables that contain data on the topic that we've requested. Quite a few tables up top. We've got 433 tables. We also have the same number of maps, and the pages are just resources on the subject that we requested information for. I'd like to quickly show you the profile because I mentioned it in the presentation. And the profile provides you with a map of the area. It also provides you with, again, some frequently requested statistics, as you see here under the icons, and data on different topic areas. And the topic areas are listed on the left. And so you can either scroll down and take a look to see what's available: people, ancestry, language spoken at home. Or you can just go over here and click on different topics such as business and economy, and it will provide you information on that topic. I'm going to go back to the main page. And I want to take a look at one of the tables here. Let's take a look at the first table, which is income in the past 12 months. And this comes from the American Community Survey. Again, the largest household survey conducted by the Census Bureau. I'm going to click on the table. And immediately you'll see that there is more detailed information here than we saw in Quick Facts. This is providing income in the past 12 months for the county by different types of households. So we've got households, families, married couple families, and if I scroll over here at the bottom, we'll also see it contains information for non-family households. And we get data by income category. We've got a handful, maybe 10 income categories. We've also got that median household income and mean income. I'd like to show you the map feature, and it's accessible by clicking on the map on top of the table, the map icon, and the map will render. And the default view is the total number of households, as you'll see here at the bottom. And to change that variable, I'm going to click on variable above the map. And this will provide a listing of all of those variables that we saw in the table. You can also search. So if I search median, that's it, median income. I'm going to grab that. And now our map renders to show median income. And again, just like we did in Quick Facts, we can click on our area and it will provide us with the statistic. At any point, you can go back to the table if you would like to check out the table again and see what else you would like to map. You can certainly do that here, and there are other options within the map to make changes to how the map is viewed and what it's showing. I'd like to point out another way to search within data.census.gov. Instead of just using the text box, you can search by filter. I'm going to click on filters and just give you an example of what's available. So we have codes if you'd like to search by a NAICS code, for example, geography. And this gives you a feel of some of the geographic areas that data.census.gov provides information for. So for example, if we wanted data not just for Maricopa County, we wanted it for all counties in Arizona, I would click on county. And select our state, Arizona. And this will provide a listing of all counties within Arizona. And then we have that nice grouping of all counties within Arizona. We can grab that. And if we close the filter, you'll see that the map now provides data for all counties within Arizona. One other thing I would like to show you before we leave data.census.gov is how to access data from the 2020 census. The Census Bureau is currently releasing data from the 2020 census on a flow basis. Some data has been released, and if you would like to see it, you can type in 2020 census, Maricopa County. And since we're still on our map view, what it does is it provides us with, and you can see here under the name of the table, under the title, it always gives you the source of the data. And this is the 2020 redistricting data, which is currently available. And it provides the total population. And since we selected all counties in Arizona, we could go back to Maricopa County and get our 2020 census population count. And if we wanted to see the results, all of the results for 2020 census data for Maricopa County, we simply go to the left of the table and click on results right under where we clicked on filters. And this provides you with a listing of data from the 2020 census. It's been released so far. That's just sort of a quick and easy way to get to that information. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the last tool. And again, you can, before we leave, help FAQ right here within the tool as well. So if you need help while you're within the tool, you've got it. And this is just a quick overview of data.census.gov. So remember, we are here to provide you with data assistance and training as well. I'm going to go back to census.gov. We're going to go back to Explore Data, just like we did in the beginning, and Explore Data Main to get to that nice landing page with all of the tools that we're looking at today. To get to Census Business Builder, it's listed right below where QuickFacts is listed with some of the other frequently requested tools. I'm going to click on Business Builder and go to Census Business Builder. The landing page for Census Business Builder provides users with quite a bit of information. Excellent resources, including, and I just want to point out, because you may not guess all of the great information that is under some of these tabs, but one in particular are the instructional flyers. And the instructional flyers provide information on both versions of the tool, but also on all of the different features. So if you want to upload your own data into the tool, it provides step-by-step directions for that. Step-by-step directions for filtering your results, changing your map classes and color palette, navigating the map. So all of the different features, or most of the different features, are covered there. So I urge you to check those out when before getting into the tool, just to get an idea of some of the additional functionality, which we won't have time to cover today. To get back to the main page, I'm going to click on version 4.2, that first tab. And now I'm going to select this, Census Business Builder. Okay, this is our last tool, and again, we're looking to find median household income data for Maricopa County. But this tool is a little bit different, and we need to select a business type as well that we're interested in, and then we enter our geographic area. So for this example, let's say we are starting a business which promotes holistic healthcare, and chiropractors are one component of our holistic health program. Learning where chiropractic offices are in the Maricopa County area, as well as the median household income in these areas, is of interest to us, because we know that people have to pay for this kind of health care out of pocket, or often they do. Households with higher incomes may be more readily able to afford this type of care. So first, we select our business type, which is under healthcare. I'm going to click on healthcare, and I'm going to click on chiropractors. So that has been selected, and the next thing we need to do is select a geographic area. I'm going to type in Maricopa. Okay, it's already recognizing it, so I'm going to take Maricopa County, Arizona. We can either go to map or create a report. We're going to go to map. Okay, so this is our map view in Census Business Builder, and the default map view, so what you're looking at, is total population. And we're going to view the business data in a moment. But first, I'd like to point out this dashboard overlay at the bottom of the map. So this features the map variable. So as I said, it's total population, so you see that highlighted in purple. But it also features other key statistics, including median household income. Again, we've got that $67,799. And it also includes, it sort of conveniently has this nice bar chart for comparison purposes. You can see if there are changes in the data over time. And the dashboard is editable simply by clicking on the pencil, and we could make a change to our dashboard and view a different variable. And you can also click on another county. So if I wanted to click on the county right next to Maricopa, which is Pinal County, Arizona, you'll see this huge change in population, right? As this has a much smaller population at 447,000. And at any point, we can close our dashboard so we can have a complete map view. And the first map variable will still be displayed, even with the minimized dashboard. So we still get the total population just as a reference point. We've got our legend over here to the right. And if we want to open the dashboard, we just click on Restore Data Dashboard. Now let's view the business data. So we're going to go back up here to the Select Map variable area. And we're going to use this first one. We want to replace total population with the number of chiropractic establishments. So how do we do that? Well, we already told it that we wanted to view data on chiropractors. So we simply just have to go to, we're going to move from customers to businesses, employer businesses, all employer establishments. And we're going to select the variable. Let me go back to Maricopa here. And now the map is displaying the number of employer establishments by county in the Maricopa County, the greater Maricopa County area. You'll see that Maricopa County has 628 chiropractic employer establishments. And if we wanted to also view our median household income data on the map, instead of just viewing it here on the dashboard, we want it on the map as well. We're going to go back up here and we're going to have a second map variable. We're going to select second map variable. Here we're going to go to customers, but we're going to click on socioeconomic characteristics. And right up top, median household income, and then click on select variable. So now the map is rendered to show us, I'm going to minimize the dashboard, not only the number of employer establishments, but also, and I'm just going to show you in the legend here, the median household income, which is shown displayed in these circles. And the larger the circle, the larger the income. And we know that Maricopa County falls in this largest category, and it is represented by the larger circle. And this is a relatively recent upgrade to the system where you're able to map two variables at once. Now, I'd like to show you the filter option. Filters allow you to visually exclude areas that do not meet a specific criterion. So to me, one filter option that has been extremely helpful for data users is the consumer expenditures option. So I'm going to click on the arrow next to not applied in my filter option here. I'm going to add a new filter. So let's say here we want to filter our map by people who are spending at least $1,000 a year on medical services. That's going to be our filter. So this time we're going to go to consumer spending. And we're going to open up this consumer expenditures per household on healthcare option here. I'm going to scroll down so you can see the options. We're going to select medical services. I'm going to click on select variable. Okay, and now we have two different ways that we can set our filter. we can use this slider bar here. You see the minimum that was spent on medical services was $638.59, and the maximum was a little over $1,300. We can either use this slider or we can enter our values manually. So let's just use the slider for now and see how close we can get to. $925. I'm going to go ahead and apply the filter here. All right, so we're going to exclude all of those households that spent less than $925, and those are in gray. So the ones that spent over $925 are the ones that are still in color. So we see Phoenix, we see Pinal County, and we see these other counties as well. So it gives us a feel for not only the number of chiropractic establishments, but also the median household income and how much people are spending on medical services. So you really get a lot of data just in this one view, and it's, I believe, the most customizable data tool within census.gov. If you'd like to create a report from some of this great information that we've been looking at within Census Business Builder, you simply need to click on Create a Report. And it takes just a minute to render. And once it pops up, the report is going to give us data on all of the topic areas that are available within Census Business Builder. And you'll see up top the local business profile. Make sure it's, the right area is selected. It is for us, chiropractors in Maricopa County, Arizona. And you can either, it's similar to the data.census.gov profile, where you can either click on the topic area to the left, here, my potential customers, or you can scroll. But it provides information on customers, business summary, and all of the consumer spending variables. So you get all of the information really in one place. You can also configure the content. If you, for example, you don't want to include the consumer spending or potential customers, you just want the business summary, you can do that just by deselecting these checkboxes. At any time, you can get back to that great landing page by clicking on Help. You can also download all of the data. You can also display the margins of error as well by clicking on this checkbox. So that is a very brief overview of Census Business Builder, but it does touch on a lot of the really useful features. And this takes us to the end of the demonstration. And I'd like to provide you with our contact information once again. So you have my contact information as well as the Ask Census email address, census.askdata@census.gov, and the number 1-844-ASK-DATA. If you have questions or would like to request training, this is where you need to go. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. And Crystal, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Thank you very much, Kelly, for this excellent presentation. Before we conclude, I'd like to thank everyone who played a role in today's webinar. And also, of course, thank you to you, the audience, for spending your time with us this afternoon. Please take a moment to fill out the evaluation by following the link provided in the chat. Look out for the recording and PowerPoint of this presentation on Census Academy by visiting census.gov/academy. We want to remind everyone of the next webinar in this series called To Nest or Not to Nest. That is the quest, on Thursday, May 12th at 2 p.m. That brings us to a close, so we thank you again and hope you have a great afternoon.
This concludes today's webinar. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at this time.